Welcome back, YouTube, to Icy Chap's Edge. I'm Icy Chap here with another review. Before we get to the review, I just want to point out we're on a different surface today, and I hope you like it. I think the black would provide a nice contrast, but leave me some comments and let me know what you think. So this is the Benchmade Activator Plus, and I really characterize this knife as a small bushcraft knife and not necessarily a wilderness survival blade. Reason being is because for my tastes, I really want a little bit more length and blade heft so that I can do more as far as wood processing. I still want my knife to be nimble enough to perform small tasks, but as you may have noticed in some of my other videos, there are knives which can accomplish small tasks and still be great for wood processing. This knife could process some wood, just not with the same capabilities that a larger blade will have. If you have the expertise and experience and you're in a climate where a knife like this will do the trick, then go for it, because this really is an exceptional knife, and I will get to that when I talk about the design. First, let's look at the sheath. We have a leather sheath, which I actually think is a knock against the knife. We've got a nice leather sheath in that it's got great stitching, nice thick leather, a beautiful finish, and it's got good retention thanks to that strap. That being said, as we know, leather will retain moisture both from actual water and also from the atmosphere, which can corrode a high carbon steel blade and in particular dull the edge. Nothing is more important for bushcraft, in my opinion, than edge retention and having a sharp edge. Obviously, having a nice blade design and good control are going to help also. So, not a good idea to have a leather sheath. Let's look at the design of the blade itself. What an amazing design. This is a Mike Snody design, and I'll show you it's got the Benchmade logo, and there we see we've got the Snody signature and D2. On his website, he's got a knife called the Sportster, and the Activator Plus is basically a slightly larger Sportster with D2 steel. I believe the Sportster is A2 steel. So, what makes this design so great? Well, let's look. Number one, it's got a great drop point with good sweep. Lots of belly to the knife, so it's going to be good for slicing and cutting tasks. Number two, we've got almost a full flat grind. We've got a little bit of a bevel back here to keep the blade nice and strong, but that nearly full flat grind is going to give us a very acute angle and let us put a very sharp edge. Number three, we've got full tang, so it's going to be very strong, and almost a full thickness right through the tip. So we've got a great tip. It's going to be very strong. Not a weapon, so it's not really great for piercing, but it is going to be good for any kind of prying or digging or notching into wood that we need it to do. So that blade shape is just excellent. It's got a lot of utility there. The utility is increased also by that great jimping. We've got a long row of jimping there, lots of real estate. Important for a couple of reasons. We've got this notch here for our index finger, and when we use it and apply our thumb to that jimping, we've got excellent control for hard cutting. If we're whittling, if we're sharpening a stick, that's really an excellent grip. Number two, in a forward grip, if we want to use the latter third of the blade, we can put our index finger on that jimping and have excellent control for those types of cutting tasks. The other great thing about the jimping is that it gives us another surface to use if we need to strike a magnesium fire bar or a fire steel, and that'll let us save our edge. Also, because the blade is not so long and it's got this nice drop point, it makes an excellent hunting and skinning knife. We put our finger on the back of the blade and we rock it back and forth, and it makes a great skinner. So lots of utility because of that exceptional blade design. Just a great style of blade. Moving on to the steel, we've got D2 steel. Really hard, durable stuff when it comes to edge retention. D2 holds its edge better than pretty much any other steel I've used. The downsides to D2 are that A, it's very hard, so it's brittle, and B, it can be very difficult to sharpen, especially in the field. As far as A is concerned, I'm not going to be using this knife to chop into wood. I could theoretically baton with it if I wanted to take down some small branches or split them. And for that, I don't think that this knife is necessarily going to chip. I think most of the shock from batoning is along the spine. And we do have a fairly thick spine with this knife. So I think it's going to be decent for batoning for very small pieces of wood. If I wanted to chop with this, I think I might do some damage, so I probably wouldn't do that. As far as sharpening the knife, I would tell you that if you use ceramic rods, you're going to have no problem putting a very, very sharp, even razor sharp edge on this knife. And it's going to hold it. I can tell you that. I've used this knife extensively, and I haven't had to do anything except touch it up very lightly after using it in the woods. I also love that finish, that satin finish. It's just, it's attractive, it's beautiful, but it's also durable. You can see there really are no scratches on my blade, despite the fact that I have used it extensively. The handles are a type of wood they call stabilized wood. I personally don't know what that means. I think it has something to do with the finish, but I like the fact that they're removable. All you need is a small hex wrench and or Allen key, and you can take them off. I think a nice modification to the knife would be to get some synthetic material like my Carter G10 and put some synthetic scales on there. So the handle is actually very comfortable, even though it's not so broad. And actually for bushcraft, that's more important. I like to have a very nimble knife that feels light in hand and that I can control very easily. This handle is really designed well for that. So the overall execution of this knife is really top-notch. It really has bushcraft in mind and is designed to that end. I love the blade design. I think it's got really, really great steel, and I love the fit and finish and the feel of the knife in my hand. So all of those things combined really, in my mind, overcome the shortcomings of the sheath. And I really think that if you wanted to make this your primary bushcraft knife, you could get a synthetic sheath made, maybe of Kydex. You don't need a retention strap, just have enough compression on the knife that it's going to hold it in with friction. All you need to carry it is really a clip, and you could attach it to your belt. And you might also want to get synthetic handles made. And I think that would make this really just a phenomenal knife. But as it is, I still give it a very high grade of 8 out of 10. I find very little wrong with this knife. I really, really enjoy it, and I recommend you go out and get one. So that is my review of the Benchmade Activator Plus. Please leave comments, please subscribe, and have a good one.